Your forecast first, sponsored by Matex Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing.
Showers and storms on the western side of the viewing area. The rest of us, though, are just very hot and humid with temperatures still in the middle and upper 80s. 79, though, in Springfield, as well as 71 in Jacksonville. And you can see from Springfield on our Flooring America weather camera, part of the roof your dog eye net, the clouds, as well as the wind associated with these storms that are going through, which we still have a severe thunderstorm warning for parts of Macoupin County until 6:15 due to these strong wind gusts near 60 miles an hour out of these storms. So for the rest of the evening, we do anticipate most of us actually being pretty dry with clear conditions and mild conditions, dropping down only into the middle 70s. WCIA 3 News starts right now.
Now on WCIA 3 News.
It's gone to the jury. The latest as BRENDT Christensen awaits a life or death sentence.
We anticipate once the investigation is completed, probably there will be more charges brought.
And it's happened again. Who's behind bars after 2 people were shot?
Goodwill workers with disabilities get their jobs back, but will the nonprofit director get to keep hers after what she said about them? Coming up.
You're watching your local news leader. This is WCIA 3 News at 6.
More than 760 days after her death, tomorrow could be the day we learn BRENDT Christensen's sentence. Good evening, I'm Paul Cicchini.
And I'm Jennifer Roscoe. The jury is done deliberating for the night what BRENDT Christensen's sentence should be, but they will be back tomorrow morning. He kidnapped and killed U of I scholar Ying Zhang 2 years ago. He faces life in prison without the possibility of release or the death penalty. We have team coverage tonight. WCIA 3's Courtney Bunting is in Peoria, as is Aaron Eads at the federal courthouse there. First to Courtney. Courtney?
Federal prosecutors say that the death penalty is the only thing that would bring justice for Ying Zhang in this case. But the defense team say he should live. They say that's because he's more than just the horrible thing he did. Federal prosecutors started today with the Assistant United States Attorney James Nelson saying, quote, the defendant killed Ying Zhang for sport. He told the jury, quote, this isn't about what's easy, it's about what's necessary. Evidence about Christensen's planning, his idolizing of Ted Bundy, and American Psycho were brought up. Prosecutors showed the jury an identical duffel bag of the one Christensen ordered shortly before the killing, telling the jury, quote, you can decide if that bag would be large enough to transport and dispose of a human body. They also talked about Zhang's sunny disposition and how her father said, quote, to tell you the truth, I do not know how to live the rest of my life. Pollock started by telling the jury she wasn't there to make excuses, but later said, quote, he's not a cold-blooded killer. In fact, I don't think he is one at all. She went on to talk about Christensen's family background of substance abuse and his attempts to get help at the counseling center at U of I. Later, she reassured the jury that, quote, he's leaving prison in a coffin, no matter what they do. She also referred to Christensen's time at the counseling center, saying the counselors didn't know they were talking to a very good liar. Now on to the defense's closing argument. Assistant Federal Defender Elizabeth Pollock started by saying, quote, there is never a requirement to vote for death, ever. She went on to explain Christensen's gentle behavior, detailing his family's history of mental health and substance abuse. Pollock got emotional at the end, walking over to where BRENDT was sitting and saying, quote, you need to remember that he is a whole person, not just the horrible thing he did. And Pollock also added that a federal prison sentence for life in federal prison is still a very tough sentence. Now, the prosecution had a chance for rebuttal after that. They said the only penalty that fits this crime is death. Reporting live in Peoria, Courtney Bunting, WCIA 3, your local news leader.
Courtney, thank you so much. Now, the jury deliberated for about just 3 hours today. They didn't finish. They'll be back in court at 9 a.m. tomorrow morning. No word on how long it could take them. Now, the jury may only have 2 sentencing options, but making their decision isn't as simple as just picking one.
That's right. They have a checklist of items to consider, and it could take them hours, as it already has, to get through. WCIA 3's Aaron Eads continues our team coverage now in Peoria. Aaron, they have what's called a weighing process.
They do, Paul, and it has already taken them hours. The jury instructions take them through how exactly they have to do that. Federal prosecutors presented what they call aggravating factors that they argue warrants a sentence of death, while the defense presented mitigating factors, claiming Christensen deserves life in prison instead. First, the aggravating factors. 3 of them are laid out in United States law. Prosecutors want the jury to find that Yinging Zhang's death happened while Christensen was committing another crime, in this case, the kidnapping. It was done in a heinous, cruel, or depraved manner, and that there was substantial planning and premeditation. Now, there are 5 more aggravating factors prosecutors mentioned that aren't named in the law, but the jury will still consider them. They are Yinging's vulnerability as a victim, her family's victim impact testimony, Christensen's possible future dangerousness, his lack of remorse, and his obstruction of justice through lying to the FBI and cleaning up the evidence of his crime. The prosecution wants the jury to believe those aggravating factors outweigh all of the defense's mitigating ones, and there are 49 of those. I won't name all of them, but they deal with the following: Christensen's lack of criminal history, his and his family's struggles with alcoholism and mental health, his family's love for him, the fact that he sought treatment and counseling, his good behavior in jail, and the argument that his life is valuable. The jury has to, one by one, decide which one of those factors are true and how much weight should be given to each of them. Now, if they decide those aggravating factors outweigh the mitigating ones, they still have to be unanimous to sentence Christensen to death. If they're not unanimous, if there's just one holdout, he will automatically get life in prison without the possibility of release. Live in Peoria, Aaron Eads, WCIA 3, your local news leader.
Aaron, thanks for breaking that all down for us. Now, when jurors do return with a verdict, we will air a special version of 30 Minutes, Justice for Yinging Zhang. It takes a look at the case from the beginning, including Zhang's disappearance, the search for her, and how the FBI landed on Christensen as a suspect. A pediatric surgeon in Springfield was arrested for domestic battery. John Sandoval was also charged with unlawful restraint. Witnesses told officers they saw Sandoval shove a woman into the driver's seat of a car. Police say the woman had dried blood on her lip and was holding her side as if in pain. The HSHS medical group sent this statement this afternoon. Quote, Dr. Sandoval is no longer employed by HSHS. We take criminal allegations of this nature very seriously. HSHS leaders are working to ensure that patient care is not interrupted or affected by the situation.
A shooting in Christian County sent 2 people to the hospital and landed 1 man behind bars. It happened near 1259 North and 1250 East Road in Taylorville. The shooting happened at a house there. The condition of the victims isn't known. This is what we do know. 40-year-old Nathan Howell is being held for unlawful use of a weapon by a felon. A man is dead and the home where he was found is set on fire. Police say they are still trying to figure out what happened.
27-year-old Demetrius Ford was found on the porch near East Hickory and North Charles Street in Decatur early Sunday morning. Investigators say they are working to find the killer. WCIA 3's Jamie Mays is live in the newsroom. Jamie, he wasn't the only person killed last week.
That's right, Paul. Decatur police say they're still investigating 3 murders that happened within a 4-day span. Not much has changed in their investigations over the last few days, but one thing they know now is that those shootings are not connected. 2 other shootings happened on Thursday and Friday last week. One of the victims was 16 years old. Just 2 nights ago, the home where Demetrius Ford was killed caught on fire. The house was empty. No one was hurt, but neighbors say they're tired of the violence.
As far as the shooting, I think it was senseless. Kids not having nothing to do. So they choose other options, which is probably good or bad. It could go either way.
Decatur police say the victims of those 2 shootings are believed to still be okay, but police say they're working on all of these cases to make sure they get solved. Now they're doing follow-up interviews and they're hoping to bring justice for the victims and the families. Live in the newsroom, Jamie Mays, WCIA 3, your local news leader.
All right, Jamie, thanks. Now, here's an update. The local chain of Goodwill thrift stores said today will reinstate 12 workers with disabilities after thousands of you demanded they get their jobs back.
The nonprofit's executive director originally told the workers with disabilities they could keep coming in, but they wouldn't be paid. She blamed the state's move toward a higher minimum wage for the cuts, but lawmakers said that could be discrimination. Our Capitol Bureau Chief Mark Maxwell broke this story and is now live in Springfield. Mark, this was great news for those workers.
Jennifer, good evening. Indeed, it was. In fact, just moments ago, the mother of one autistic worker we met with yesterday is expressing her gratitude for this decision and for the thousands of people across central Illinois, even across the country, who weighed in on social media and spoke up alongside her in defense of her son's job, his paycheck, and his dignity at work. The apology letter from the Land of Lincoln Goodwill CEO and President Sharon Durbin reads in part, quote, "The outpouring of comments has caused us to take pause. We apologize for this error in judgment. We are reversing the decision and will return the affected people to their part-time skills training program with pay." Tonight at 10, we hear one-on-one from Lonnie Braun, the mother of that worker with disabilities, and ask her several questions. She's the mom who fought for her son's job. We ask her, was this a case of discrimination? Is she satisfied? Does this go far enough? And what does she make of the comments that the president, her son's boss, made about him and his disabled colleagues here at Goodwill? Live in Springfield, Mark Maxwell, WCIA3, your local news leader.
Mark, tonight at 10, we're also working on getting reaction from other Goodwill stores around central Illinois to see if they have seen any backlash from all of this. We will have all of this tonight at 10. Thank you so much.
The countdown to Illini football is on when the orange and blue officially take to the field.
And also tonight,
any outdoor activity, you can get zapped really quickly.
even when you're having fun, how those with the Champaign County Fair are trying to get ready to have a hot time.
And it was a hot one today, but we expect really more of the heat and humidity to be in place for tomorrow going into the weekend. We topped out today at 90, shy of our record, but coming up we are talking about heat index values between 105 and 110.